Welcome back to 5 Talk Street. I'm Vince Sims. We just heard from our friends at Reading Partners about the importance of reading once school is out. And we know that it takes the support of the whole community to be successful. NBC5's Laura Harris spoke with Jeffrey Blunt, author and former NBC News director, about his involvement with the National Reading Partners Office and his mission to show others that we all can chip in to help increase childhood literacy.
I just really want to thank you so much for being with us. It's truly a pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And what's interesting about your background is you have a background in television news and you have a background in so many different things. You know, when I read your bio, I kind of say he's somewhat of a Renaissance man. So how did you get to the point where now you're writing novels that a lot of people are into?
You know, I've always believed in the power of education. I've always believed in the power of reading and what it means in our lives. And when I saw that there were deficits, I began doing research about that. And that led to, you know, my most recent novel. And actually the next one that I'm writing now continues that. So this is a mission for me that I think that I will be, you know, writing about for quite some time.
You talk about those deficits. Just kind of expand a little bit more about what you're talking about and how you can see it in any town USA.
Well, we see particularly, you know, something like 53% of Americans' children are not read to at home, and that number grows or gets worse, I should say, when poverty becomes an issue. And so there are many kids who are below the poverty line, and also many studies that show kids of color who aren't read to a lot at home when they're young. Parents are working several jobs. We learned this during the pandemic, right? How many people are working multiple jobs and don't have that time, which is why a lot of people need school open. But when those kids are not read to at an early age, their reading scores are something like 46 points below the average. And so when you see that, and when you see that those kinds of things are hampering children's ability to learn and to dream and become the many different things that they can be, then you just feel like you want to jump in and help, particularly when you realize, in my case, I realized that my parents did recognize that. And my brothers and I were lucky, and that they built a foundation for reading and education in our family, and it paid off. And so I want to try and be in a position where I can advocate for children so that they can have the same kind of opportunities that I did and that my brothers had.
Yeah, and Jeffrey, when you look at many of these students, it's through no fault of their own. And that's another reason why it takes a village to help.
Oh, absolutely. It's through no fault of their own. As I said, you know, when you're born into poverty and you're born into families that are struggling, what can you do? I mean, you grow up in the world that you're used to. So it absolutely takes a village. And, you know, it doesn't have to be rocket science. What I find is a lot of times just putting kids in the space where books are. So if you, you know, have a boys or girls club and you're working with kids after school, make sure that there are books in the room. If you have an after school basketball program, somewhere in the locker room or someplace where the kids are, there can be a small bookshelf full of books about their favorite basketball stars. You know, at home, make sure that there are books around. You know, talk about books. If you have read your favorite books at dinner table, talk about your favorite books and how they impacted you. At churches, some churches have, you know, libraries, and they have reading contests for their kids, and they sponsor book clubs for their kids. My wife and daughter, when my daughter was in 4th grade, my wife, with friends of the girls that my daughter were friends with, started a mother-daughter book club that started in 4th grade and went till they graduated from high school. So there are all these, you know, special ways and easy ways that we can make reading a part of their lives.
This pandemic has not only shown us how many jobs a lot of parents are working just to keep food on the table, but it has also shown us how important our educational system is, how important and essential teachers are and schoolhouses are, because without kids going to these places, we have seen what they're calling the COVID slide. So all of that said, there has to be a way that we have to get back to at least where we were before the pandemic so that we can start climbing again. What are some things that you would say that people should be doing, not just parents, but people in the community who maybe don't have kids, but they're hearing that this is kind of an issue for the first time.
Well, a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people are saying it may take us a while to get back to where we were, but that doesn't mean we don't meet the challenge. And there are many ways that you can do it. I represent, I'm on the board of a national program, a nonprofit that specializes in tutoring, and adults from around the country in the regions where this nonprofit operates are coming and spending time, even virtually, with children now, helping them read and helping them keep their momentum so that so we can minimize the slide as much as possible. But then I think that, we all have to, in many ways, children and us, we have to, at some point, we're going to have to hit a mental reset button. And then we're going to have to get behind our children in ways that we haven't had to before, so that we can make sure that they can compete. And this is especially important, I think, for children of color who are fighting, not just the pandemic, but are fighting a historical system that has marginalized them for generations.
Once again, it's just people really paying attention and realizing that maybe these are some of the things that they never thought about before, but now that someone's bringing it up, it's the time to make that change.
Oh, absolutely. I think when you have this kind of struggle, this kind of setback, everybody is trying to, I know at Reading Partners, we're trying to reassess that and understand how we can be a better part of helping schools through the tutoring program bring reading back online at the level it was. But if we understand that reading is a foundation for all of our academic success and intellectual success throughout our lives, none of that exists without our ability to read, then we should be able to motivate people to bring that into the children's lives so that they have the opportunity to succeed.
It is always a pleasure to talk to you. I mean,
likewise, Laura.
Thank you so very much for being with us. I mean, it's one of those things where, like I said, you're not thinking about it, you don't realize that it's there, but the more and more we start thinking about it and spreading that information to everyone, not just minority communities, but also the majority communities as well, we can all work together to help children better.
Absolutely right. You said it best. It takes a village. We have to care about our children.
Yeah. Jeffrey, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it.
Such great information there. Thank you, Laura. And for more information on Reading with You, how you can help or how you can get help in your house, visit NBCDFW.com/reading and watch NBC5 today at 6 a.m. every Thursday starting June 17th when Laura Harris features a local reading program for you.